Hey Breck students, Frank here from AFP with our Music Recording Monday topic. Today we're going to be talking about just making covers and using GarageBand to kind of design music. So, as you know, GarageBand is a DAW, basically a virtual studio for creating music, at your disposal without necessarily needing a studio, necessarily needing, a special type of room to record, and you kind of just have everything, at your disposal here in front of you. So, just a little bit about what I've been doing for the past couple of months in quarantine. A friend and I have teamed up to work on some music together, but it's not just any type of music. Me and a friend are working on new wave music, 80s pop music, and to be specific. And basically what we decided to do was we thought it'd be fun to take a bunch of hits from the 80s, like really popular songs, and kind of deconstruct them and pay homage to our favorite artist. That includes Michael Jackson, Talking Heads, Depeche Mode, Prince, Madonna, and a lot more. But I just want to really quickly just give you an example of how we've been doing this, just some of the methods we've been using and how we've been using our at-home studios and the things that we have on hand to create this music. So I got a pretty old MacBook Pro here that I've been using since I was like in, I would say about 10th grade right now. And I've had it for a while. It's a little under 10 years old. But it still works fine. I upgraded the RAM so, I could, make sure that the computer was running quicker in these times because, they basically changed the game a lot in the music recording world. There's a lot of specifications because of the new computers, so I kind of had to, update this computer. But I'm using an older version of GarageBand, and what I got pulled up here is a project. It's a song by Michael Jackson called Leave Me Alone. And I'll just give you a little taste of it. I'm sorry that you guys can't hear inside my computer the actual audio from the DAW. I haven't really figured out a way to do that yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. This computer's kind of old, so I'm going to try my best to break it down to you. But I just really want to show you how I, kind of created this. So let's just give it a little listen. So yeah, that's my cover of a classic by Michael Jackson. So first things first, when you go to cover a piece of music, you want it to kind of have a bit of you in it. You want to give it that the personal zest that you would want to put inside your own music. So for this one, I really went in and deconstructed each sound. I listened to Michael's version 100 times, and I really tried taking a more like taking his version, learning the notes and learning all the parts to his song, and making it a little more modern. And for instance, I'll explain what I mean by that. Like, here's a bass that I was using for when the track comes in. Let me just solo that. It's pretty, 80s. But then I felt like, how could I like thicken that up without like having to mix it down too much? So I layered, I literally duplicated the track, and I layered a saw bass on top of it. And it gives it, I don't know if you guys can hear that through iPhone microphone, but it gives it a fatter tone. So, Leave Me Alone, most of Bad, is really, I feel, one of Michael's best work, some of Michael's best work, I should say. But, that for this song specifically, I don't know why, like, I always imagined Stevie Wonder playing on this. So what I did was, for that, same bass line that you just heard, I added another layer, but instead of adding a bass, I added a clavinet. And it just gives you this really Stevie Wonder bass tone that I think is really cool. It's even thicker. So, I love recording guitars on GarageBand because it's really easy. But for some reason, I was like, for this track, I was like, I wonder how it would sound if I used a clavinet for a guitar part, just to give it that, like I said, like I really wanted to emulate that Stevie sound. So I kind of, over that previous clavinet layer, I threw in a clavinet that was playing something different, like just kind of adding more rhythm to this. So this is what I got. And mind you, these are all just, I didn't write any of these parts. This is a cover to a Michael Jackson song. I was just trying to, give a modern tribute to, or add a modern twist to this song. So check this out. Here's the guitar part. And I did record guitar on this, but like before I recorded the guitar, I wanted to try how it would sound just with this clavinet. So this is what I got. It's just like if you close your eyes, it feels like Stevie's playing. If you had been following us on our iOS GarageBand lessons, you'll notice that these are all loops. This is not a these are not just tracks. They're literally specific little patterns that the computer reads to play this virtually. So I made this pattern by itself, and then I duplicated it for the specific part. So I got this. So then, with that in mind, you got to have the kind of lead tones in the song, like the lead instrument. So I kind of layered a guitar on top of a piano to get that intro tone correct. It's just an acoustic guitar, and it's so funny because I'm really against using virtual acoustic guitars, but that's only because I know how to play a guitar. I feel like if you have it in front of you and it's accessible, go ahead and use it. And I kind of ate my own words, because when I saw how this ended up sounding alongside the piano, I was really impressed. I felt like, wow, I'm really kind of achieving that Michael Jackson tone, that Quincy Jones tone. So I took the same pattern right here, and I copied it down to this untitled piano track, which I should probably fix. And then I took that same pattern and I duplicated it down here to the strings. So when you add, it's literally, it hasn't changed. All these three instruments are playing the same exact pattern, but it just feels so much like fuller. Like, check this out. Starts to come together, it feels like the actual track. So let's talk about recording actual instruments and getting real instruments onto a track like this. So, like I said earlier, I use that clavinet. Let me take out all these bass tracks. I use this clavinet to make up for an electric guitar part that I was kind of too lazy to record. But, I kept listening to the track and I was like, oh my God, that electric guitar part really makes the song, because it's a really tight-handed, funky guitar riff. So I was like, I gotta do that. But I don't necessarily want to get rid of the clavinet. So what could I do? So I recorded myself doing a quick loop. And this is what it sounds like. So this is without the clavinet. This is just the electric guitar. I'm using a Strat into a Fender Deluxe. And I basically, looped that one image and kept, it's like kind of infinite. It stops at certain parts. At a breakdown, it will kind of cease. But now let's listen to it with the clavinet. Gives you that. It gives you that real, like, Michael Jackson feel to the track, Especially when you hear all that pick, And this is me just layering instruments doing the same thing. Like, I'm just taking this, I'm playing a part, finalizing it, kind of quantizing it, making sure it's on beat, and then I'm Command-Shift-C, I copy and paste it to another instrument just to layer it and give it a fullness. So now, my favorite part of making any type of cover, I think, especially 80s music, is the drums, focusing on the drums. And for me, Michael Jackson drums are like, especially around the Bad era and Dangerous era, which is like 1986 to like 1992, 93, the snare just slaps so hard. So I'm going to start off with the kick. I'm not even going to spoil it yet. So I got a basic kind of like a Lindrum kick. And real quickly, before I go any further, let me just say that all these sounds that I'm showing you they come with my GarageBand. Like, I haven't, really been using any, external VSTs. This is all completely GarageBand and Arturia product. Like, I don't really own that many virtual instrument software. So, yeah. So this is kind of, like I said, like a Lindrum kick. I kind of try to mix it to sound like a Lindrum kick. And then I layered it with an actual, like, more real sounding kick. And like I said, these are all virtual instruments. So you really could hear the boom in that. So then, I add a Lindrum snare. And if you don't know what a Lindrum is a really, really, really important 80s drum machine that kind of defined the era. Prince used it, Queen used it, a bunch of... it's on a lot of songs that you guys probably already know. Madonna used it. It's just a really dope sounding drum machine. So I got this snare. Already sounds kind of new wavy. But like I said earlier, I wanted to make it sound a little more modern, like kind of like what would have how would this song, sorry if I'm tilting the camera, I'm kind of holding it and talking at the same time. I want it to be like, how would Michael Jackson had recorded this had he recorded Bad in 2020 using a MacBook Pro. Right. So what I did to kind of take inspiration from that beat but like modernize it is I just added another snare. I don't really have like a lot of those 80s, like I said, those VSTs, so I kind of had to design it from scratch. And I feel like that's a classic Michael Jackson move, making that like sound on the snare. So, you know, after getting that right where I wanted it to be, I added a clap just to give it some depthness and give it... The hi-hats, which are just from the hi-hats are from the most of the actual the real VST like drum, like the real acoustic drum kit VSTs are the SoCal kit on GarageBand. It's really cool, and I'm using the Neon 808 or Lindrum machine, rather. It's more of a Lindrum mixed with 808 sounds. They just kind of like mushed it into one preset, so it's called the Neon, and I'm using the SoCal. And here are the hi-hats. Now, we've basically covered the drums and rhythm instruments. Let's talk about some lead tones. Let's talk about like strings and trumpets. So, where do I begin? It's very hard to sort of make trumpets and strings sound believable on GarageBand. I'm pretty sure you guys have come across that. So, what I like to do is I like to layer. Before, you know, this is we're not talking about no mixing in this video. We're just talking about sound designing, rather. You know, like, so as you know, this is the intro right here. But this intro falls on a chorus. So I layered it onto the piano, much like I did on the intro. Thickens it up a little bit. And then you have the strings, which is the exact same pattern. Still not big enough for me. I want it to sound like a little... I don't know, a little more exciting. So we add the live pop horns. Still not big enough for me, so we add another layer. It's getting there. Definitely getting there. I think one more layer. There it is. Feels, adding, you know, a couple of layers of horns gives it this like, all right, it's almost there, you know. what is a chorus without a really dope synth lead? So yeah, that's basically how I kind of get the orchestral element behind like behind the tracks in GarageBand. Like I try to do a lot of layering. I haven't really mixed this song much yet. It's still kind of, in design. Uh, so just real quickly, tying back to why I'm doing this and why I'm choosing to make this video on this specific song. I've been in quarantine for the last 3 or 4 months, like everyone else, and you know our lives got kind of flipped upside down, and we haven't been able to perform. A lot of the musical projects that I've been a part of have approached a halt because of the quarantine and coronavirus. So this is just one of the ways that I've been trying to exercise my love for music. I'm a huge fan of Michael Jackson. I'm a huge fan of pop music and rock and roll, and I wanted to dive in and take some time to really understand what makes this music so special to people. And me and a friend, his name is Amiri, and he's in a band called Black Rabbit. You guys should check him out. He's an amazing musician. We share that same passion for 80s music. We share that same passion for this type of music. Michael Jackson's music is incredible. And there's a song out there for everybody. If you haven't heard Michael Jackson's music, I'd urge you to go out there. What planet are you living on if you haven't heard Michael Jackson? But for those who haven't, I'm not dissing you. I'm saying really go check him out. He's an amazing artist. And me and Amiri really wanted to express, how needed this music is right now in today's culture. We're going through a lot outside of our doors. We got rioting, you got the coronavirus, you got this madness, and there's nothing to kind of just center us and bind us with each other. And I feel like music is that one thing that has the power to do that. Now, this is just GarageBand, and I'm just I'm at home just making music, but I assure you that this is such a journey for me. I'm really learning things about music that I never knew before, and it's helping me bring you these videos, So if you're interested in what you're hearing in this video and you like the way the song is sounding or the project is sounding, follow us on Instagram. We're called Milk and Cookies Project, and our icon, our little Instagram picture is a literal picture of cookies and milk. And we're on Facebook. I'm sorry, we aren't on Facebook. We're on SoundCloud. We're only on SoundCloud and Instagram currently. But if you like our music, please follow us and check us out. We're doing 80s music. We're going to start doing 90s music and 70s music. But the point of the Milk and Cookies Project is that we're doing all of this music at home from our computers on GarageBand. We're not going to fancy studios. We're not even in the same room. Me and Amiri are not even in the same room when we're making this music. We're completely in separate places. He lives across town. I live in the Bronx. So, it's pretty interesting, And this is just one of the ways that I've been kind of coping with the coronavirus. Obviously making videos for you guys and making sure that you guys get the right information is one of the things that's been helping me kind of get through it. But I feel so lucky, and I feel like it's my responsibility to share how accessible this is, because you don't really need a laptop to do any of this. You can do it from your phone. You can do it, with a tape recorder. You can do it with anything. You don't even need to record it. You can kind of just make it happen, by just, using your imagination. So on that note, if you guys have any questions on how to build a track, or if you want me to go over something more specific on this specific track, or doing covers on GarageBand, I'd love to do that. Thank you for watching. Thank you guys for those who've been watching us for the couple of months of quarantine. Thank you guys for paying attention, and we want to continue bringing you the best. So yes, thank you. It's Monday, and we're approaching June. And yeah, I'm excited to keep making these videos for you. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I'll see you tomorrow. And yeah, if you have any questions, like I said, leave your question in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. Have a good one.